All right, I'm going to tell you guys about the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys joining us here. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, and he's on the Buyers Barricade guest line. Coach Mike McCarthy. Coach, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Morning, Coach.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Coach,
how you guys doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Thank you.
We were just talking about Kirk Cousins, and when you break into the film on Kirk this season, he's had, if you just look at the stats, you say, man, he's had a pretty good year. But it's really been, he's had two phenomenal games. And other than that, he's been kind of just there. It seems like a roller coaster with Kirk Cousins. You could get the guy who's throwing for 500, or you could get a guy who looks like a replacement level quarterback. How do you prepare your defense for a guy who you never know what you're going to get out of him?
Well, I mean, you really got to prepare for, the whole offense. And really, I mean, let's be honest, it's the first year, this group's together. So, but there is, as you've already stated, some very, very productive video to go off. But, I think Kurt's always done a really good job, staying within the system, very decisive. And when he gets in a groove, I mean, he can be as hot as anybody with the ball placement. So, and that's what you got to prepare for. But this is a very well constructed offense. You start up front with their offensive line, and they're getting healthy, getting the center back, and you gotta. There's a lot to like about their perimeter group all the way through. So, starting with the runner, I think the runner's dynamic. He's obviously outstanding out of the backfield, but the thing that's really jumped off the tape is me. I think the young man's a hell of a pass protector too. So ability to play three downs and all that too, and then the perimeter pieces. So I mean, this is an offense that, as you already said, has put up big numbers a couple of times, but they definitely have that ability.
You're talking about Bijan Robinson, 3 straight games of the 100 yards and a TD for Atlanta. And you talked about this team first year together getting better by the week, and they certainly are a better team than they were a month ago. You're going to get some help. It looks like Deron Bland will be back. Talk about his addition and how that helps those skill positions that you're going to see against the Falcons.
Well, we're still not quite there with Deron.
Oh,
so, we'll see where he is today. But as of yesterday, he's still working. Not totally out of the rehab group. So yeah, we just got to stay the course with our guys. Carson will be back, so that'll be a good thing. And but yeah, it's we're kind of in that mode right now, and hopefully we can get some more guys. If not this week, next week.
Coach, you talked about Bijan, and you guys. This has been a big struggle area for you guys, is stopping the run, getting teams off the field. Defensive, I mean, like getting Bland back would be phenomenal for the defense overall. But what do you guys have to do up front, do you think, to be better stopping the run?
Well, it's just once again, it's the ability to stop the run when you have the numbers in a box is what it should be. But when you have to also prepare to try to help the outside pieces is what I'm going is the two shell. The two shell run defense has to be really good, and that really starts with your inside pieces. So I felt our linebackers played better last week, but we just got to keep getting the run fits. We got new guys out there on the ends, and just keep working with them and just get the run fits. But we got to get off blocks and make plays. I mean, like I said, I thought the linebackers took a step. I thought definitely Demo was he was all over the field again. So we just got to keep playing and keep improving those run fits.
As you do get healthy, you do expect the improvement to come. You heard your quarterback, I guess it was yesterday, said he loved his game plan. I hope he loves it every week. When you're dealing with a quarterback who's going through downtime, 8 interceptions over the last couple of weeks, the witchcraft of working with a quarterback, obviously, his confidence isn't down. But what do you do with a quarterback who's just not dialed in?
Well, you keep working, regardless of the last performance or the performance that day. I mean, it's a long year. There's a ton of work that goes into each and every game plan, and no position has more than the quarterback position. So yeah, I don't see a confidence being an issue, but we have a standard of that we set last year of how we want to play in that position, and we just got to keep working to adhere to it.
Last week against the 49ers, statistically, it was not a competitive game, but I thought it was important the last 8 minutes and it didn't matter to the score, but you guys put up those 2 touchdowns. I thought it was important for the connection between Dak and CD because there's been a lot of talk about those 2 guys not being on the same page, not really being simpatico. Did you feel like maybe the vibe between Dak and CD improving late last week?
I thought they had a good night. Yeah, very productive, and obviously had the opportunity to win the game on the last series. So I felt we were right where we needed to be at halftime. Third quarter, clearly swung their way, but I thought the fourth quarter, we were in position to win the game. We just didn't get it done in that 2 minute.
That's head coach Mike McCarthy joins us every week, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Let's talk about something that's actually looking pretty good that's not getting enough love. I think Guyton, your left tackle, had himself a good game, Coach. What has changed? Obviously, he has been baptized in fire this year, just one all-pro after another. And going through that, what have you seen that has changed from him? Because obviously his attitude was good in the early part of the season, but it got rough. What has he changed?
The biggest thing is availability. I mean, that's really the most important, especially for young players, especially for someone as young as Tyler. So, I think just the fact that, he went out in the Pittsburgh game, missed the Detroit game. So just his ability to get back in there. I mean, he needs to play. I mean, there's no substitution for what he needs. And I thought he did some good things against San Francisco, and we gave him a lot of help and didn't give Terrence much. So, we just want to be able to balance that out. So I'd like to see him take that step this week.
Coach, as a guy who's been coaching football for as long as you have, you've seen, the way that these players, the way their mindsets go, you've seen it change over the years. And I think back to when you were, when you started in the NFL back in the early 90s, the idea that Trayvon Diggs is on Twitter and being upset about Twitter a couple minutes after the game, like is that shift something that you've noticed, like where the outside noise becomes an inside problem more so in the current age?
Yeah, it's the world we live in. It's every day, not just in NFL buildings. Yeah, I think the world is. I mean, I go back to '93. I don't even think you can compare the locker room of the '90s compared to today's locker room. Yeah, I think it's just the culture and climate that we live in.
Do you think it's a negative impact on the locker room, and how do you account for it? How do you try and keep guys focused on what really matters?
Well, the locker room access has been open for a long time, at least 20 years in this league. So I mean, it's part of the everyday operation, and anything that's external that you live being negative can be a negative. But no, it's something that it's it's like the carpet. You deal with it, and it's just part of the everyday deal. So it's just like anything in life. It's only an issue if you let it be.
Coach, I think a lot of fans were surprised to hear that he had his phone out before he'd taken his pads off. I think we were all shocked to see that. Is there some kind of policy regarding that?
I don't know why you'd be shocked. I mean,
yeah, I know that. I don't know why. You're exactly right. I don't know why I'm shocked. It just seemed like, my gosh, did you even have time to open your phone?
No, I think it's the world we live in. I think I know it's the world we live in. I mean, you just walk down the street, people have their heads in their phones. I mean, people have their heads in their phones in any opportunity they do. I mean, you walk in any NFL locker room after a game or after a practice in the last 15 years, the first thing most guys do, they go to their phone.
Coach, what's the key to success for you this weekend? What do you think you guys have to do? If I said, what's one thing you got to point at? This is what's got to be right for us to win this weekend.
Oh, turnover ratio. I mean, you can go through every stat, that exists. Our past games, the San Francisco game. You want to talk about statistics. You don't take care of the football, you're going to lose the stat game. So we got to take care of the ball, and it'd be good to get some takeaways, but got to take care of the ball and make sure we max out every series of the game, and that's just something we haven't done this year, and that's the biggest glaring negative of our past games. So it's time to learn from it and apply it this week in Atlanta.
The turnover differential you mentioned, the Cowboys had been so good producing turnovers the last several years. And I've always said I feel like turnovers, there's some luck factor involved. Like I don't think that teams are like inherently great at forcing turnovers. I just think sometimes it's going to change year to year. But the Cowboys have had a really good run of at least making my point seem stupid by constantly producing turnovers. What do you think the difference is this year? Or is it as simple as the bodies that are on the field aren't there?
No, I mean, I couldn't disagree with your point more. I mean,
Okay.
it's not luck. I mean, it's, you gotta first create the opportunities, and then when the opportunities do exist, you got to be in position to either protect it or try to extract it. And then there's technique involved in both protecting it and extracting it. So it's definitely a skill. It's a skill development. You could look at the history of my head coaching career. It's something that, throughout my career, we were always at the high, at a high level. So we're just not getting it done in the area of, ball protection and ball extraction. So it's something we work on continuously. We've actually increased our commitment to it on today's practice. But yeah, it's something you have to have. And I will say today, just in today's game, taking the helmet out of the game, the skill of guys taking the ball away is unbelievable. I mean, it's every week. We do a cut up of the whole league every week and show it to the players on Thursday, and it's just amazing how good the defensive players and the special teams players are at punching the ball out. And just the different techniques that are being used week in and week out. So it's a big part of the game, and I think just taking the helmet out of the game is has really promoted this, and the development of it. It's been extremely high here the last 6 to 8 years, 10 years.
You expect the tide to turn with that kind of effort. Weird question. Time change on the road, early kickoff, something you're not really used to. What's your schedule look like as you head to Atlanta?
That's a good question. It's a noon game on our clock, so noon games are different. So we'll obviously stay on time getting over there. We're flying east, so when we fly east, we always leave at the same time. But yeah, so the evening before will be, but just as far as the pregame, the 4 hours and all that, the meal and everything, that'll always be the same. But it is 1 o'clock Eastern time, so hopefully it won't feel as early as noon over here.
Do you schedule practice early during the week to kind of get accustomed to it, or does it just be a professional and be ready to play when you need to be?
Well, that's the time we practice every day anyway, so it kind of fits. Yeah.
All right, that is head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Best of luck this week, Coach. Hope we can get back on track and get some momentum going with this season. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right.